Coro was founded really to support democracy in the shadows of World War II.
Dodge and Fletcher first met in the 1940 campaign. They spent a lot of time together after that, discussing and comparing their impressions and reactions about what the country needed if it was to improve itself and govern itself in a thoughtful and responsible way.
So they designed a program called the Internship in Public Affairs in 1947. And what they would do is they would send them into the city council meetings with very specific things to look for, and then come back and compare notes. And then they'd send them into labor unions and come back and compare notes, and then into businesses and come back and compare notes.
I found the management, labor, and government training was a choice opportunity that I never would have had otherwise.
Fletcher was very, very experimental in how he would get people to learn from their own experience. He was completely convinced that the learning had to come from direct grappling with the raw experience.
He led a weekly discussion, and Van Dyne Dodge probably led 6 or 8 during the year.
If you have 12 people for 9 months, they're all in different businesses, all in different governments, all in different politics, and they're coming together once a week, like 47 times a year. What that does to your thinking and your mental models is you go to a completely different level of integration.
But then it was real life. You know, they would put you into an environment where you had to do a one-day project or a smaller group project or present something. And you got to see how it was working with other people, and you got to see what worked and didn't work about your personality, about the assumptions you make.
Because a key part of it is a reach for a better understanding, not only of how I think and see and feel and plan and hope, but how do others come to the conclusion and the ways in which they think and feel and plan and hope.
It's amazing how you discover the power in yourself to do things you never thought you could do.
It was somewhat of an adventure because it was so new, but I am very grateful to Messrs. Fletcher and Dodge. They were excellent examples.
And those men were committed to leadership and devoted their lives to it.
The thing was completely supported by donations, even though it was called a foundation. They would go to local businessmen and philanthropists and say, would you want a doctor operating on you who'd had no internship experience at a hospital? Well, why do we allow public officials to work on the budgets and the programs of public office with absolutely no internship experience?
When I was a Coro Fellow, there were 2 offices, San Francisco and Los Angeles, and since then we opened up New York, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh.
I had wondered way back then, would Coro be continuing? I am delighted that not only is it continuing, but has been expanded and well managed.
Then we've added in 1998 a program for high school youth.
In its initial summer, its pilot, Exploring Leadership, was really a mini fellows program. We took young people from across the city, looked at young people who were coming out of a variety of different neighborhoods, coming out of our public schools, coming out of our parochial schools, coming out of our private schools.
We now have, I think, close to 1,000 graduates who've gone through our program at a high school age. Can you imagine having that experience of going into an internship, getting peer coaching, getting the Coro tools focused on self-awareness and inquiry at 15?
So I think that the future of Coro is even stronger today than it has been in the past, and you can see that by the number of people we're reaching now.
Since 2006, we've been working with UCSF, and we've trained close to 200 faculty members at UCSF, and now we have trained, I think, it's got to be close to 1,000 people across the UC system, both faculty and administrators and staff.
And I think Don Fletcher and Van Dyne Dodge's goal was to develop your natural interests and expand those. And the record shows there's such a wide range of careers that people follow.